Hi, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of Travel with GingerMMT, which is our video and audio podcast. I'm so excited to be joined by a special guest this week. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, I'm Ginger with Marvelous Mouse Travels. And as always on our video podcast, I'm joined by my husband, Evan. But today is actually a really important day because July 15th, 2020 is the 6-year anniversary of Marvelous Mouse Travels. And so we are joined by a very special guest, Kari Dillon. And Kari is the owner of Marvelous Mouse Travels. So Kari, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, every day I am more and more blown away by the culture of the agency that Kari has created. And so I'm really excited for everybody watching this or listening to this to get the opportunity to get to know Kari a little bit more, but also to see what it is that sets Marvelous Mouse Travels apart from other agencies. So I'm super excited to get to interview you today, Kari.
I'm happy to chat with you about it. It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
Of course, of course. So Kari, tell us a little bit about how you got into the travel industry. Like how and why did you get into this industry?
So I don't have some great story. I did not aspire my entire life to own a travel agency. I was a teacher. I was actually at the time going through a divorce, and teaching salaries in North Carolina aren't so great. So I knew, I took my kids every year to Disney, and I knew that was going to be a struggle for me at the time. So I knew that I had to take on another job. I had, in the past, always thought about, being a travel agent that worked with Disney destinations. And actually I applied to an agency and I didn't get hired. So I took on a job working as a travel agent for an agency that specialized in Disney destinations. And that's how I got involved in the industry. Honestly, my purpose was to make enough money to be able to pay for my vacations once a year, continue to take my kids to Disney.
Absolutely.
And, it's turned into a little bit more than that, obviously. I'm no longer teaching. And a few years into it, I opened up my own agency. And here we are 6 years later.
Yeah. What made you decide to take the plunge to open up your own agency?
There were several different things. Not all agencies are created equal. I just felt like I could be doing this in a different way than what I was experiencing. When I started at the agency I was with, I fell in love with it a lot more than I anticipated. And I just wanted to take it to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, obviously a lot can happen in 6 years.
Yeah. Who would have thought we'd be here?
Yeah.
And I know that MMT has received numerous accolades and awards. So can you let us know what all MMT has received and what honors the agency has received in the first 6 years?
Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy whirlwind. And I do not take ownership of this. This is just, it's because of everything that these agents in this agency do on a daily basis. But obviously, as we started the agency, one of my goals was to become an earmarked agency. And, most agencies take about 2 years to be in the program because you have to have a certain amount of sales level over the course of 2 years. We entered the program in 1 year, and we entered as a silver agency. We skipped the bronze level. So that was pretty exciting. We remained silver, I think, for a year. And then we were gold for 2 years, and then platinum. So there's still one more level ahead of us, diamond. So that's our goal that we'll strive for to meet. So, for those that don't understand the levels, it's just what, when you work with Disney destinations, they level the program based on your agency sales. So that has always been an exciting thing for myself and all the agents to continue to work up, and move through that program. So that's with Disney Destinations. A huge thing for us this year, in 2019, but we received the award this year, was for Universal Studios. We were invited to their partner awards, and we won the 2019 Agency of the Year. I think, there you go. You see that trophy? It's in the case. There's the globe. So that was huge for us and super, super exciting. And then some of our other vendors, we won this year one of Sandals' the best awards at their awards program. We are a CRC member of Sandals. That's Chairman's Royal Club. Fun Jet Vacations, we're in the 500 Club. We're at gold level. So it just depends on the vendors and different, their different programs that they have.
Yeah. And that's incredible to have reached all of those different milestones in just 6 years.
That's what I was just thinking. That's incredible.
I mean, absolutely, for sure. That's something to be proud of. Kari, tell us a little bit about how 2020 is unlike anything that you've ever seen or experienced in the travel industry.
Well, I think 2020 is unlike anything anybody has ever seen or experienced in the travel industry. Even those that went through September 11th say that this in no way even compares to that. It's been a bit of a surreal experience. In some ways, though, it has made me appreciate what we have as an agency even more than I already did, which was a lot. It has been, it's rocked us to our core, in a lot of ways. It was really difficult for me to see so many agents that worked so hard for so long building their businesses, and so many that had quit their full-time jobs and made this their full-time jobs. So seeing them kind of going through it. And for those that are not in this industry, when I say going through it, I'm talking 10, 12-hour days on the phone with vendors, on holds that were just astronomical, and basically canceling the majority of the trips that they had, booked and spent countless hours planning. So that was really difficult. A lot of pressure, difficult for everyone. But from my, standpoint, that was tough. But I think we stayed as an agency as positive as we could have throughout the situation. Tried to, spend a lot of time making sure that we were up to date on all the new guidelines and policies and protocols, and they were changing daily. So we spent lots of time in meetings and just working through everything together. And, we're coming out on the other side of it now. One thing that absolutely blew me away last month, in the midst of all this total, utter craziness, I don't know how the agents did it. I work alongside of them every day, and every day I'm so grateful for, to work with all these people. 3 different milestones we hit last month, in the midst of it. We had beaten our 2019 June sales. We had our biggest sales day ever when Disney released 2021 sales. And we had our highest month of Universal sales. So, I sat there watching this occur throughout the month, and I was like, I don't even understand how this is possible. So as crazy of a time as it's been, I do consider us super lucky to have been able to withstand it and be coming out on the other end of it. While this situation is obviously not over, and we're still in the midst of a pandemic, there's still a lot more work that needs to be done. But we are starting to see places slowly opening and people starting to really have the desire to travel again. And, we've been working in that direction now.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of answered my next question. So I'm going to ask you a slightly different question.
Sure.
I think this year probably demonstrated it more than ever. But how do you think 2020 demonstrated to the world how important and how valuable a travel agent can be?
Yeah. So I think, like you're saying, that is definitely something that we are seeing. I also think that on the other end of this, we are going to be looked at in a different light than maybe we were before. There are some people that have been using travel agents for years. There are others that when you say you're a travel agent, they look at you and go, travel agents still exist? Don't people just book on the internet? And some do, but there have been a lot of people, and we've seen it firsthand, and we've had people come to us and there's been nothing we could do. They weren't our clients, that did just book on the internet, maybe found something a few dollars cheaper, and that doesn't even always occur. It's usually something that's not, being compared apples to apples, but booked in that direction, and companies went out of business. I mean, folded 2 weeks into it, and all these people had paid for these vacations in full, and the monies were never sent to the hotels, and people were getting places to find out they had no reservation. It didn't even exist. People were stranded in Mexico and all over the place with, reservations paid in full that didn't exist. There were a lot of, kind of rent things on your own that, their terms and conditions, are just that, it's final sale. And it didn't necessarily matter, what the circumstances were. So one of the things that travel agents do is we make your vacation investment as important to us as it is to you. Mm-hmm. And we're there to make sure you understand those terms and conditions, and that you understand the importance of travel insurance and how it will benefit you, if it will benefit you. And, there's so much that goes into it. And on top of all of those things, we have, good relationships with our vendors. We work closely with our vendors. If something goes wrong, we can reach out. We have connections. We have, sales representatives that we reach out to that are there to advocate for you, just like, we're doing for you. So I think that, that it's come to the point where people just are going to see the value of an agent a little bit more.
And just to clarify, because we say this all the time, and it's kind of hard for people to believe, but everything you just mentioned, the help, the hours on the phone, on their behalf, that kind of thing, the agents do that at no additional cost to the consumer. Is that correct? Correct.
Some agencies charge fees. We do not. Mm-hmm. The way that it works, and you're right, because people don't understand. When we book a trip to any destination, the commission is built into the pricing of that vacation. If you book with a travel agent, they pay the travel agent. If you book it on your own, the company keeps it for themselves. So not only are you supporting a small business when you use a travel agent, and obviously I'd love for you to use us, but even if you don't use us, just support our industry as a whole. Use any agent. But it's not costing you as a consumer a penny more than if you were to book your vacation direct. Exactly. And many times we can save clients money, because we know about the promotions available. Or even if it's not available when you book it, we know when it releases, if it applies to your trip. And we, part of the job we do is we apply that automatically for you. Mm-hmm. So,
sounds
many
like
times, right, exactly. So many times we do save clients money. And they'll book with us and say, they called directly to Universal and it was going to be, wow, you saved me $2,000. It was going to be that much more. It's not that we saved you $2,000 or it was going to be that much more. We just know what kind of room category we can put you in. And, that's going to be the best option for your family.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kari, if you could think of one thing about MMT, Marvelous Mouse Travels, if you could think of one thing that you are most proud of in regards to your agency, what would it be?
The culture, hands down. Yeah. Today, with it being 6 years that we're in business, and I made my post this morning to the agents, we're successful and our sales are wonderful, but it's not our sales that got us to where we are. It's our culture. It's the relationships that are built. Everybody is so helpful and selfless, and they are constantly working together and helping each other out. And, it's really, it's a family that we are. And that in turn, as a result of that, our sales make us successful. But it's the culture of the agency. And the only thing that I can, when people talk to me about it, the only thing I can take responsibility for is I've been super lucky in the hiring process. But everything, from that point on is the agents within the agency that create what we have.
Well, and I can speak as one of those agents to the fact, though, that you are the bedrock of that culture, Kari, because you are always so positive, and you are always so encouraging of us, and you have put safeguards in place to make sure that all of our individual businesses are protected as we still work together as a team, and that it truly is a family. And I'm so grateful for that.
And I appreciate that. And, but it's really, like I said, everybody inspires me on a daily basis and makes me feel the responsibility to make sure that those businesses are protected and to remain as positive as possible and, encourage through the situations, because you guys do the same to me. So,
Kari, what is the one thing that you want to immediately come to people's minds when they think about MMT?
Oh, I want them to think about our service, our level of service. Obviously, nobody's ever going to make everybody 100%, completely happy and satisfied, and situations occur, but we are always working with the best interests of our clients. And even when situations occur and arise, and, even through this, refunds have taken a long time, and there's only so much we can do when, Royal Caribbean Cruise Line is working from home and they don't have their systems, but what we always are doing is making sure that even through all of this, that, we are not satisfied until our clients are, and until, they have their money back in their account or they get to take that vacation. So I want people to think of, our service as first and foremost. That's what we're here to do. But I also, to me, the most important part of this, and, it's funny, me and my daughter, we just got back from Florida, and we were walking, and she was talking about how she doesn't feel like she has like a passion in life. And, she just graduated high school. It's been kind of a tough year on high school graduates as well. But, I was like, well, sure you do. I don't technically feel like I have a passion in life either. And she was like, what are you talking about? Travel's your passion. I'm like, oh, right, it is. But I don't look at it necessarily that way, because to me, it's always been about, and it started that way, just creating the memories with my family. And that's what I love so much. And I know our agents love so much, is allowing others to create those memories with their loved ones and family. And even throughout all of this, as people are starting to travel again, it's been so cool to see agents receiving pictures from their clients and posting in the group and saying, oh my God, this is what I've missed the most through all of this, was receiving these text messages and, just having people that have gone on these trips and, had the greatest time, that memories they're going to take with them. So, I think that goes along with like the service.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned that you just got back from Florida and that people are starting to travel again. Yeah. So share with us a little bit of what your experiences were as you returned to Universal and to Disney recently.
Sure. So I've gone down twice so far. I was down for Universal when they opened June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then I just returned 2 days ago from Florida again. Me and my daughter went down. We spent 2 nights at Universal, did Volcano Bay, and then headed over to Disney and did Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. It's important for us to be there to be able to showcase what's going on. And then, so many differences over the course of the last few months to be able to share with agents and the agency and our clients, so we can best know how to direct them, in these times. So
Right.
Our experience with both really has been incredible. There are people right now, we're in such a crazy time. Some people are ready to go and ready to travel. Others are more hesitant. We respect all of that. But for those that are ready to travel, being able to showcase to them what it is and what that looks like right now is important.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you for myself, and I've heard it, we have multiple groups on Facebook that have pretty large followings. And we hear it all the time in our groups from people that have returned, or are at the destinations, but also our agents. I have a sense of feeling more comfortable and safe in Universal walking through the theme parks than I do when I go to the grocery store. Mm-hmm. Same with Disney, the measures that they're taking to keep everybody safe and follow the guidelines that are put forth by local, state, and federal officials has been, extraordinary. Ginger, you were down there too, right?
We were at Universal. Mm-hmm.
And how did you feel? I mean, did you feel the same way?
I did. I feel the same way. I said, I think exactly what you said. I felt more comfortable in the parks than I do at the grocery store because everybody had their masks on. It was very clear where you were supposed to stay away from.
And they're enforcing it and the sanitizing procedures. Like everything is so, they're really doing an incredible job with it.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree.
So nothing negative about, my visits to either one. Today was a big day too, not only for us, but also Hollywood Studios and Epcot opened today. Right. So we have some agents in the parks reporting on those openings as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a good day for us. All 4 parks are open. Universal's open. Good day.
And the agents that are live streaming down there, people can find that at this web address, facebook.com/marvelousmousetravels. There are numerous live streams that the agency has done over the past couple of days. Kari did a few of them, Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. And so
the agents do a way better job on all that stuff than I did.
You did great. We watched it. What the coolest thing, when we were watching you walk into Magic Kingdom and walk up Main Street, seeing all the cast members waving at everybody and saying, "Welcome back."
It was a moment. It was so
cool.
It was really, it was historical, really.
Yeah. I teared up a little bit.
I'm a pretty tough person. My family, they used to make fun of me, my siblings, and say that, I have no tear ducts. So I stay pretty calm and cool, but I couldn't even speak going through that because it really was like being there. It was pretty emotional.
That's awesome.
It was amazing to watch. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Well, Kari, speaking of Disney and Universal, we're going to ask you the same questions that we ask everybody to end our video podcast. And I'm going to ask you about Disney and Universal for these. So you're a special person because I don't always ask both for everybody. So of the 4 main parks at Disney, which one is your favorite?
You really don't want to hear my answer. It depends on the time of year. If Food and Wine is going on, Epcot is where you will likely find me. I love Epcot during Food and Wine. Obviously, Magic Kingdom is the, quintessential Disney experience. But I love some Hollywood Studios too. And then love Animal Kingdom because that's where my favorite attraction is.
Yeah. Flight of Passage.
So I did not answer your question at all.
No problem at all. I love the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot because I love taking photos of all the different flowers and everything.
All right.
I think the Food and Wine is probably Ginger's favorite festival. So of the 3 main parks at Universal, you got Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and Volcano Bay, which is Universal's water park. Which of those 3 parks is your favorite?
I love Volcano Bay. Volcano Bay is the greatest park for just a nice, relaxing day. Definitely my favorite water park in Orlando. And I think too many people skip it, and it's a must-do. But out of the main parks, that's a tough one too. I would say Universal Studios. I love the vibe of the actual Hollywood recording studios. But then, of course, my favorite attraction is over at Islands of Adventure. So.
Well, that's our next. Well, no, you get to pick that. You get to ask that question.
Yeah.
What the favorite rides are.
Yeah.
I almost stole Ginger's questions.
Okay. So, Kari, what are your favorite rides or attractions at Disney and at Universal?
Disney World, Flight of Passage, hands down. That's a good one. Universal, Hagrid's.
Yes, that's an amazing ride. We got to ride that for the first time.
Yeah,
this month actually when we went down, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
So going back to just talking about what the parks are like right now and the experience. If you know Flight of Passage, that line is always at least 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. We walked on and off 2 times within 20 minutes. We rode it twice.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, there is no lines. Hagrid's, that's been another one that people have been able to ride multiple times in one day. Like, this is just unheard of.
Yeah,
being able to experience these parks right now.
Absolutely. So, and Hagrid's even has that virtual queue, which it didn't before, which is awesome.
Right. So it's definitely a unique time, but it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, our last question is for all the people who, like me, who go on vacation to eat food, and I get excited about the food.
Yeah.
So, Disney and Disney World and Universal, what's your favorite restaurant at each of those places?
Oh goodness, that's a tough one. I love Big Fire at City Walk. That's one of my favorites. Yeah,
and it's very conveniently located too.
It is. And I love the drinks there. Really, if I'm being honest, a lot of times my favorite restaurant is where they have the best drinks in Big Fire. But gosh, Disney, that's really tough. There's so many options. Ohana is great. Obviously, that's one of the favorites. Topolino's is great. That's the new one in Riviera. If you want a little bit nicer
meals right now too, aren't they?
They are. They're for breakfast. Yes. I love the Boathouse in Disney Springs. That's a tough one. I have too many favorites. Then we'll get off of here and I'll be like, oh, I should have said that one.
I know. It's just, there's something for every taste and every mood, though. So that's a good thing.
There is. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Kari, thank you again so much for joining us and letting us interview.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Travel with GingerMMT. I really am so blessed to work with Kari and the other agents who are part of the Marvelous Mouse Travels family. When you book with our agency, you truly are benefiting from the combined expertise of over 250 agents, so you know that your vacation is in the best hands. If you'd like help planning your next vacation, you can reach me for a free quote at www.gingermmt.com.